what I was saying is, like, there are two types of reservation. One is planned and one is your opportunistic cross docking. So in the planned one, there will be some manual efforts needed to cross dock, but in the opportunistic, it is everything is going to happen automatically. You only need to do a one-time setup for opportunistic cross dock, and then every time it finds an opportunity where it can cross dock incoming supply to an outbound sales order, so it will do that. Then comes the label printing. So
Anshuman,
label
just
printing.
one
Yes, yes,
question.
please.
Like with cross-checking, you are going to go into detail again later, or
I will. I will definitely. We have a plan to show you the setups for cross docking,
okay?
so that you are aware of how it is cross docked. Okay, how the
Okay.
setups are done.
Yeah, I have some queries. Okay, I'll limit it to. I mean, keep it for that time. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, sure. Okay, so coming to the label printing part. So label printing also is an important aspect or feature of Oracle WMS. Okay, and this will be based rule based. So every time you can set labels to get fired automatically when on some of the business transactions, business scenarios, that are business flows that are performed, like receiving, put away, and pick load, pick drop, ship confirm. There are like seeded business flows where you can set those up, and once those are transacted, so their label will be fired automatically. So Oracle, once you have done the setup, and in the setup part, we will be like setting up the your label types, and then assigning those label types to business flows. We will be setting up the printers, and once the transaction is performed, a label is going to be fired. So from the Oracle side, it's responsible to push the XML data, and we need to make sure from WMS the data that is coming is correct. So, and the next will be the your third party application, like you are using Loftware or Zebra. So there you have to configure the setups where it can print the labels. And then the storage optimization. So this will be your rule based put away, so that your storage is optimized, and it is a system directed rule based put away. So what is going to happen is we are going to write some of the rules as we discussed earlier, so that your storage is very properly used in the and utilized in the warehouse. So from a high level perspective, this is the overview of inbound logistics. Coming to the reverse logistics, as the name suggests, so you'll have here RMA, then return to vendor, and then refurbishment and recycling. So RMA we have already discussed in detail. So RMA is nothing but return method authorization. Anything coming back to your warehouse from your customer, you need to receive it and make sure that if you want to reuse it, then you'll have to refurbish it or recycle it, and then make it eligible for picking again. And return to vendor is again, like as the name suggests, if you're returning something to the vendor from where it has come, so that is RTV, return to vendor. I hope this is the very basic things, not specific to WMS, I would say. Coming to outbound logistics. Okay, so again, outbound logistics we have discussed, but let's go through it one by one and in detail. So we have a sales order, that is, we have received a sales order, and we want to ship those particular items, as we told, to the customer. So system wise, what is going to happen in the warehouse, and operations wise, what is going to happen in the warehouse, that is what we are going to discuss here. So let us say you have a sales order. So here I just want to discuss your line status of the sales order. At each step, what is going to happen. So the whenever the sales order is created or booked, okay, the line status that you can see is released to warehouse. Whenever the sales order is released, the line status will change to released to warehouse. Released to warehouse. That means the allocations for that particular sales order has been done. It has identified some of the stock in your warehouse, and you are it's allocated against that particular sales order. It is only eligible to be transacted against that particular sales order, and it will not be available for any other transaction or any other movement inside your warehouse. Then comes your picking. So once you pick the task, pick the LPN that is allocated, it can be picked and then dropped in your staging area. So the state will be changing to staged pick confirmed. And the next is staging, or sorry, shipping, where you can use the ship confirm button to ship confirm the sales order. So ship confirm is like you can do in the usual process from the shipping transaction form, and it can also be done through MSCA for WMS enabled docs using your quick ship. So quick ship and direct ship are the features that will be present, and you can directly do that from your handle scanners. So this is something from the system point of view. Let's understand from the operations uh, point of view what is happening inside the warehouse, so that we can try to correlate in both the manners. So suppose sales order has been released, and now a picking task is present in your warehouse control board. So let us say your sales order line, you have 4 lines of sales order, and so you will have 4 tasks that are present in your warehouse control board. So the warehouse manager, what he will do is he will go to the warehouse control board. He will see that there are 4 tasks present now, and the status of the task is pending. So what he can do is he will manage it. He will go to manage and then assign those tasks to the order pickers. So once order pickers have these tasks assigned, so what they can do is they will go to their handheld devices and they will navigate to the order picking screen. Okay, and they will start executing the picking task. The picking task will have your details like what is going to be picked, from which locator it is going to be picked, what is the quantity that you are going to pick, okay, and your transfer LPN. So what is happening is, if you see, suppose you have this is your warehouse, it is one of your locators. The locator number, let's say, is K8. Okay, so your order picker has gone to this particular locator with his handheld trolley, and he will pick this particular item on one of the transfer LPNs, and he will transfer on one of the LPNs, which is called a transfer LPN. And now this particular item A is loaded on this particular transfer LPN. Once this is loaded, the next task that is to be performed should be drop task, that is drop LPN. So if there is only, you can like do the setups where you can have the load and drop button at the same time. You can also do setups where you can have the drop button hidden until the last task. So based on the business needs, these setups can be done in WMS. So let us say the drop LPN is present now, and you'll click on drop LPN. So it will directly take you to the drop LPN screen, where based on your setup, you will have to enter your staging sub inventory and a staging locator and hit enter. Also, there is a field called as drop LPN field. Okay, so if you want all the materials that you are picking for a sales order to be dropped on this particular LPN, then you can enter that. Plus, there is also a setup that is called as operation plan consolidation. Okay, so based on this, I will show you where it is set up now. So based on this particular LPN can already be populated, and then you can hit enter, and your picking task will be complete. So this task is now complete. So once this task is complete, the picker's job is now done. So now the shipping team can take it ahead. They can either go to Oracle and do the ship confirm by entering the different details like they want to do on based on business need. Like some of the businesses will enter way bill number and ship uh, what is that there is a route also, right? So all those details can be entered on the shipping transaction form. And alternatively, you can use your handheld devices to do a quick ship. So in quick ship is nothing but directly you can scan the delivery number and it will ship it out. The only prerequisite is that the delivery should be staged, and it will you can use your handheld device to ship it out. So this is a overall view of your outbound logistics. So if you see here, there are three different terms. One is consolidation, second is packing, and third is shipping. Okay, so once pick release is done and you are performing this, so consolidation is also very important. So as we discussed here, so while dropping also you can do the consolidation, and you have to do the operation plan setup in Oracle. And there are three types of operation plans. One is locator based consolidation. Second one is your LPN based consolidation, and third one is nothing but locator and LPN both based consolidation. So if it is LPN based consolidation, that means all the items that are picked will be dropped into one LPN, so that, and this will be for one sales order, so that everything is consolidated at one and you don't have to worry about shipping it out on a different LPNs. A locator based consolidation is what, suppose you have different staging lanes, so you want to drop on one locator only. So in that case, locator based consolidation will happen. And the next is your LPN and locator based consolidation. So in that, both these things like LPN and locator, both these things will be working parallelly. So these setups are like the basic setups that we need while enabling WMS. Okay, and this will comes under the rule setups. So rule setups is planned to have, we will have a detailed discussion on rules, uh, how to write rules, and how to have, like, what are the different types of rules that can be configured in Oracle WMS. So that is planned definitely tomorrow. Second comes packing. So you have packing workbench also option also. So before shipping, you have option of packing. So packing can be done, and you can enable packing in using WMS. So that option is also here. And third one is shipping, as we discussed. So shipping is nothing but shipping your items, products out, and using different channels. So that will come under your shipping, like ship confirm or quick ship or direct ship. So all these things are possible in Oracle WMS. Outbound yes.
But now, when you talk about transfer LPN, drop LPN, and all those things, that's task based. Is LPN
Mhm.
mandatory?
Yes, LPN is mandatory.
Because when I just have, say, for example, let's talk about one of our businesses where we have tires.
Okay.
Okay, and the customer has come and is asked for 10 tires.
Mhm. Okay.
So I created a sales order. I entered the tire item, entered quantity say 4 instead of 10, let's make it 4. I entered
Mhm.
4, which are serial control items. And
Mhm.
after that, I want to ship this 4 quantity.
Okay.
So in that also LPN will come into picture.
Yes, definitely. See, what is going to happen is like the transfer LPN field is mandatory. Okay, you'll have to transfer it to some LPN for a WMS enabled org,
Okay.
and then it will be dropped in staging lane where you can ship that LPN out.
So
So it is,
LPN
yeah,
is mandatory then. Okay.
LPN is mandatory. Yes.
So then in that case, we'll have to use some dummy LPN and then do it.
Yeah. Dummy LPN can be used, or you can some
Okay.
pre-generate LPNs can also be there, or you can generate the LPN then and there. So most
Okay.
businesses, what they will do is they will generate the LPN there. That is dummy. They don't have any physical entity like LPN or a container or a pallet. They will just have a
Hmm.
dummy LPN to ship it out.
Hmm.
So the like yeah, beauty of this is like you'll have something to tag it to, right? Like you have four serial numbers, so they are tagged to one
Hmm.
LPN. So whenever you scan that LPN in system, so it will be you will have all the details at one place, where it was
Okay.
shipped, when it was shipped, what did it contain, what was the weight, everything. So that is how it's configured.
Okay.
Yeah. Next, coming to, if you see here, we have cartonization, case picking, tasks, and release rules. Okay. So we have discussed most of them in detail, but let's go through them again. Okay. So let's first go to these release rules. Okay. So here we are many times talking to release to warehouse. Okay. We are going to release the sales order. So I think most of us are aware of the release sales order screen, and we have an option where we can configure the template there. So that is called as release rules, right? And plus you will have the release methodologies also there. That is FIFO, LIFO, and likewise. So suppose if you let us say you have four orgs right now. Okay, so you can have one or two release rules for each of the orgs, and that can also be based on your shipment priority, because sometimes some of the shipments can be high priority or low priority. So based on that, you can release that sales order. You can just at one click, all the parameters will be set. You can just enter the sales order number and ship it. Release it. So that is how it makes our life easier in the warehouse. So that is what is release rules. And also uh, then there will be tasks we have discussed a lot right now, and there will be more discussions coming on your questions. So I hope that is clear as of now. Case picking. So case picking is nothing but if you want the entire LPN to be shipped, right? So that is what is case picking. So we have a setup also for that, a specific setup, if when enabled. So the entire LPN, until and unless it contains your full quantity. Let us say you want to ship four quantities of item A and your LPN contains three, so at that time it will reject. So that is how the case picking works. And then come the cartonization. Cartonization is nothing but you can have some of the containers where you can cartonize your LPNs and items. So all these setups are specific lead defined in WMS. We can have go through them one by one.
Just a question on case picking.
Mhm.
Case picking is if a LPN has got four pieces, we want to pick one.
Mhm.
Is that case picking?
See, case picking means you have to pick the full case, right? That is what case picking is. So like there are two types of things, right? Case picking and pallet picking. So pallet picking, you can pick a part of the pallet. But in the sorry, I'm going wrong. Sorry, I got confused. In case
Exactly.
picking, you can sorry, I got wrong. So in case picking, you can pick a part, but in pallet picking, you have to ship the entire quantity that is present on the pallet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes,
Now,
that is case picking. What you're telling. Yeah.
okay. So we have case which is like 4 cases in a pallet. So we want to take one case. So that is case picking.
Yes.
Okay. Now within that case, if you want to pick a few pieces, do we have that functionality?
No. You'll have to pick the
No,
entire.
you unpack the case and then pick it.
Yeah, that you can do. You will have to first unpack the LPN and then you can pick it. Like that you can do.
Okay. Mainly, Rajan, I'm referring to the accessories picking,
Okay.
where we may have say 10-20 bits in one case, and we may have to kind of lose it and then kind of pick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for this new project, we will have accessories, and this accessories will not go full cases. It will go pieces. So
Yeah.
we are getting into that level. And tomorrow, if there is discussion of further say e-commerce picking kind of thing, then we are going for single piece there.
No, man. Actually, Shreyas, what happens is when we receive the shipment, right?
Mhm.
So we will be storing at the lowest level, which is basically unpacked and stored as each piece. So we will not be storing at the LPN level or at the case level.
Yeah,
So
actually
everything will
the
be pieces of.
the challenge over there is it can happen that sometimes we may ship in cases also. We
So
may
that's what. That case shipping will come into picture at the time of packing.
Yeah. So if for example, we have a order which is like say 90% is case to be shipped, and 10% is like piece picking. At that time, if we kind of open everything, then we will have it will be double work. So we would want to kind of open only when there is piece picking requirement. So
But Shreyas, when we are receiving at that time, if, we have to inspect all the parts and everything. So that time we have to open the case, right? It cannot happen that I am receiving the case from the supplier and I am just storing it. I have to open it, check it whether parts are okay or not okay, and then only I have to bin it.
this is how we are doing. We are opening
Yes.
the every
Yeah.
box,
Yes. Yeah.
checking, and then packing it again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rajiv, please. Rajiv.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
sorry,
are
I
doing
was
like that.
mute. Sorry. Yeah, yes. What we do is we open each and every case, and then at item level we check everything. Then only we do it. Until unless
Actually,
if we have one case containing just one item, for example, spark plugs and oil filter, which comes in a huge quantity, which we just count from outside. We don't open each and every case. But if it is mixed, we open each and every.
but you are checking piece by piece the quantity.
Yeah. Yes, yes. Because each and every part number is scanned and confirmed in the handle terminal to make sure the quantity is matched before picking
Okay.
it.
Okay. So these pieces are checked, and then you are repacking it.
Yes. Then we are repacking it based on customer wise, based on order wise.
For local market, we are not repacking, we are just selling other pieces. But for the bulk market, we are repacking it and then selling it in the
Yeah.
LPs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I'll just note down this point. This we may discuss internally, Rajan, on this. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
We
sure.
will.
Okay. So coming next to is storage and facility management. So it's more like your warehousing and how do you manage your inventory, how efficiently using WMS. So for that is the first one you see you will have advanced lot and serial control. So how do you do that? Okay, so let me navigate you to one of the screens. So this is one of your warehouse parameters screen. Okay, so I just wanted to show you the screen right now because it is more like interactive now. So whenever you define inventory org, so you need to enter some of the details here. And when you enable WMS, so you need to check this checkbox. And once you this is checked, so your WMS is enabled and it can't be reverted back. And here also you can see WCS enabled, right? So here comes the warehouse control system. So enabling this is also going to enable your WCS. So once this WMS is enabled, so if you see here revision lot, serial and LPN. So you have two screens here. Just a minute, okay. So this is the one. Okay. So serial control can be defined here. Okay. So if you see the lot control, serial control and LPN generating options are present in this particular screen in the warehouse parameters. So the lot control uniqueness, okay, there are two things. You want your lot to be unique and you can set it as none or you can set it across items. So there are two things. And lot control generation also. So are you using lot or serial? I heard you are using
We have
serial,
both.
right? You
We
have
have
both.
Both.
Okay. So currently, how is it set up for you? I think it will be set up already, right? Because your WMS enabled.
No, lot control uniqueness we are not using.
Serial and
Okay.
Serial, yes. For
Oh,
vehicle.
serial uniqueness you are using. Yes.
basic
Yes.
level.
Hmm. So serial number generation, like if you see here, it is set up as item level, right? So every time a serial control item is there, so you will have one unique serial number for that, for one piece. And the prefix and starting serial number is what we can set up over here. For example, the prefix here is set up as S and starting serial number is like, suppose it's ending in 54. Once this 54 is used, so it will change to 55 likewise. So it's like pretty simple and it not coming specific to WMS because in inventory also this is something. The what is specific here is your LPN generating options. Okay. So LPN generating here, you need to set up the prefix, your starting LPN number and suffix if you want to give it. Okay. So the total length also you can give for some warehouses or businesses, they can give 10, 20 likewise, or you can like leave it also so that it will just consider on its own. For example, the current LPN that will get generated is LPN 54A. But if you give it as 10, so it will have LPN 00000054A, total 10 digits.
Yes.
Likewise. So here, every time you will try to generate an LPN during your transactions while receiving or while doing your LPN pick drop. Okay. So the LPN generation is going to set up from here. And LPN is generated in two ways in WMS. The first one is you can run a concurrent program that is called as generate LPN. And there you can set all the parameters which are like the same here. And you can generate like n number of LPNs in one go. And second one is using your control plus G. So in handheld devices also or in using telnet, you can just press control G. It is going to generate a new LPN. So when do you use that concurrent program? So there can be some business scenarios where you want some LPNs to be pre-generated. Okay, so let us say you have a business where you want all your pallets to be tagged as LPNs. So what you can do is you can generate, like, let us say 5,000 LPNs, and you can print their labels and paste it on your pallets. And while you're receiving, you can just scan that LPN because it's already generated. So it's not an issue. It will be already present in the system in the defined but not used status. So we will come to the status of LPN also right now, but in that way you can use it. So hope it is clear for you now.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's coming to the LPN part. Let's discuss the LPNs now. Okay. So this is what is LPN. Okay. So LPNs is nothing but if you have a container, you can give it, you can mark it as an LPN, that is license plate number, for a group of items, and you are giving it a unique identity. So anything in the warehouse can be marked as an LPN. Okay. And LPNs can be nested also one on one. Okay, like if you see in this picture, LPN 4 has two LPNs, LPN 1 and LPN 3 going in, and LPN 2 has another item A in that. So this is what nesting of LPNs is also supported by WMS. For example, you have one LPN over another LPN over another LPN likewise. So this is what I just told you now. LPN number is unique across organization. You will have only one unique number that can be two for same number, and it can be manually generated or automatically generated through a concurrent request, or it can also be generated through control plus G. It is defined at organization level that I just showed you in the org parameters, and can be a manufacturer code assigned by UCC. So that is what a LPN generation setup. Then comes
Sorry,
the LPN.
just on that, Ayushman. So if the manufacturer is having the code for the product, like what you showed as an example, LPN4 has got 2 or 3 boxes combined.
Okay.
No? So if this is coming from the manufacturer itself, can we integrate?
No. So if like, let us say, I understand what you're saying. So your manufacturer label you want to integrate with your label, right?
Rather than generating new label here and sticking, if we have that consistent flow from the manufacturer, can we use that?
No, as far as I have done the implementations, I have not seen that. Like we'll have to generate new LPNs only in Oracle, because Oracle does not consider anything outside the system. So I don't think it can be integrated.
Okay. Even though this information of codes are kind of shared by the manufacturer well in advance, it cannot be embedded and scanned.
Yeah, that is what, like UCC manufacturer code, right? So I think that can help there. So give me some time, I will check that.
Yeah, because you understand my point. No, otherwise we'll have to kind of print, label, and stick, and then scan. Rather, can we use this?
I understood your question.
Rajiv, are we using anytime or?
No, we use it. See, what we do is in all cases, all suppliers gives the LPNs, and we usually get this information through advanced shipment notice through ASN files. We get it, and this data is passed to us. And when we create a shipment, we are taking into consideration all these LPNs. So we use it when all the supplier supplied LPNs in our system, but it comes in through a ASN file, advanced shipment notice information.
Yeah, and within that LPN, if we have products, different cases, are we using that information?
Yeah. See, you mean to say like when I receive a shipment, so let's say 10 container, within one container I will have 100 cases, each case
No.
having, right? Uh-huh.
One case has got say 10 line items, and that
Yeah.
10 line items have got manufacturer code or barcode in that. Are we
Yeah.
scanning that barcode or are we creating our
No,
barcode?
we don't put our own. What we do is, as I said, in one container we'll have 100 cases. Now, once you start doing the sorting, we take each and every LPN, and then our ASN contains all the line details. So we use the supplier provided information only. We don't create anything from our end.
We don't create anything. Okay.
No, we don't
Yeah.
create
And
anything.
if we are having that solution, then fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yes. But to answer your question, yeah, like Rajesh said, I think for EKK parts, we are not printing barcode anywhere. We're using supplied barcodes only everywhere, right from LPN till item code.
Yeah. This is good actually. Okay. Thank you.
And for the outbound area, we create all our own. And the moment the sorting and other process, we are doing our creating our own LPNs.
Yes. For
Inbound,
outbound, yes. Yeah, we
yeah,
need.
inbound also what we do is when we receive till certain sorting is done, later on we start creating our own LPNs because we may
Yes.
have different policies where we use LPNs. Those are
Yeah.
all we turn created. Yeah.
Okay. Clear. Thank you. So thank you, Ashwin.
Yeah. Okay. So LPN, every LPN that is present in our system will have a different context. Okay. Hope I am audible, right?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Thank you. So, like as I said, suppose we are generating some of the LPNs and that have not been used as of now. So they will reside as the status is defined but not used. Okay. There may be some that are going through RTV, so they can be resides at vendor side. There can be some as pre-pack of WIP. There are some that are loaded against a sales order, so loaded for shipment. So this is what I have taken a screenshot of LPN context value. So whenever you will query an LPN number in your SQL, okay, and using your WMS license plate table, so you will find some LPN context value against that. So most of them are we are aware of that. Whenever you have received one of the LPNs and it is already put away and sitting inside your warehouse, so the context is 1, okay, that is resides in inventory. It is 4, okay, 4 when it's like staged and then ship confirmed. So once it's ship confirmed, so it will show issued out of stores and the LPN context value will be 4. Whenever it's you have pre-generated it, okay, but not yet used, so it's pre-generated. So next, some of the LPNs when they are shipped from one uh, internal shipment for internal shipment transfer, so they will say resides in transit. Most of them are important to us and we want to know. So there is one. So most of the time in WMS, there is one thing that comes for troubleshooting is that some LPN will be showing as packing context, and the user might not be aware what needs to be done in this case. Okay, so whenever there is a support or something, so what the consultants are going to do is they will check the LPN context against that, and it whenever shows the context as 8 or packing context, so what happens is that this is a temporary context value that Oracle defines against an LPN, and this happens while order picking. Whenever user has picked something but not yet dropped, it is about to be dropped. So sometimes user session might have been terminated, or due to some other issues they have not been able to drop that. So Oracle system assigns this LPN context value 8 to that, and once it will be eligible for dropping. So once it is dropped, so then it will be like issued against a sales order and then issued out of stores. So just wanted to give you this information because some of all the LPNs will have different context, and it is mandatory to know all these things here. The LPN's material status. Okay, so there are some transaction types that can be allowed on the LPN. Okay, so the LPN can be put away or load, ship, subunity transfer. So all these things, if you see, organization transfer, planning transfer, alias issue, transfer to regular, all these things are like the allowed transaction types, and you can perform on your LPN. You can split an LPN, you can pack, unpack, all these things can be done. So this is also one of the setups. Subinventory and locator material status. So okay, so whenever we define subinventory, okay, so there is some status, material status, locator material status that needs to be defined as well, and that will be like controlling the allowed transaction from or in that subinventory. For example, if there is no status defined, that means all the transactions are allowed. Okay, and if you want to restrict some transactions from that subinventory, so you can directly go to that particular setup and then disallow the transaction. So for example, some of the subinventories you don't want to be picked, so you can disallow that, and it won't be eligible for picking anymore. I wanted to show you another screen related to subinventory. Okay, so if you see, this is the subinventory and locator setup, and this is done while defining your subinventory screen. Okay, so whenever you define a subinventory, okay, so the status from top, you can give it as this status. You can give as active or nettable, and likewise. So this is nothing different from your inventory org. So here, what needs to be like focused upon is whenever you enable WMS, this warehouse tab is going to be highlighted now. This is also going to be enabled. Okay, so once this has got enabled, so this will look like this. Okay, so if you see, the warehouse tab is enabled, and you have different options over here. LPN control, enable cartonization, enable bulk pick, enable opportunistic cycle count. So at least one of the sub-inventories should be LPN control in a WMS org to perform the transactions. And you can also enable cartonization or enable bulk pick against this particular sub-inventory. And again, opportunistic cycle count can be done on a specific sub-inventory also. So all these setups can be done here. Now coming back to our normal PPT discussions. Okay, so here coming to lot and serial attributes, we have already discussed. So here the grade set and all. So you like this is the basic of how you are defining the lot and serial. So we have already discussed. I think we can skip to cost groups now. So cost group, okay. So in the setup also right now, if you have noticed in the sub-inventory setup, you would have seen here a default cross cost group is defined here, right? So cost group can be defined here first on your org parameter level, and then here in the your sub-inventory level. Now first, why it is cost group and why it is needed. Okay, so let us say I want to explain you that when physical demarcation of your warehouse is done, okay, so it is done like you are creating sub inventories. So that is your physical demarcation. But when you are you want to do the financial demarcation, Okay, so in that case, your cost group assignment will come in picture. So cost group can be assigned to your uh, like to supplier level and sub inventories level. And what is the use? Like you can find exactly what is the value of raw goods inside your warehouse directly. If everything is in one cost group, then it will be like very much hectic to find, right? So that is where it comes into picture.
Anshuman didn't really get that. I mean, can you give an example and explain that?
Yeah,
Supplier
sure,
level.
sure, sure. Just a minute. So let me go back to my Excel sheet. Okay. So if you see here, we had three sub inventories here, right? Let us say light. So we created three sub inventories. Why did we do that? We did that to have our warehouse physically demarcated, right? But if you
Yes.
want the financial demarcation of your warehouse, okay, what is the value of fans total? Okay, so in that case, what we'll do is we will have cost group assignment to this fan sub inventory. Similarly, you can have it at the supplier level and sub inventory level.
You can enable the cost group at lot receiving level, because if I want to receive one lot, okay, I want to
Mhm.
see this lot as with separate cost. If I'm doing any pharmaceutical business, okay,
Yes.
so in that one, whenever I'm receiving the one lot, it will go with the one cost, and second lot it will go with the other cost. So can we track cost group
Mhm.
at receipt level?
Yes. We can track that.
So
So
you will
what
say
what
we can track the cost group at serial level also then.
no no see what is happening, like you told, right? So when you are receiving one lot, it will go with one cost group. Second, it will
Yes.
go with another. But here, from starting to end, it can go at one cost group only.
Starting to end, that's correct.
Yeah, yeah.
But then it will happen for the serial also, Anshuman.
No, serial, it will not happen, right? Because you are like, uh, I'm not really getting what is. Can you explain this
See,
example? Yeah.
I am doing like I'm receiving the 10 vehicles, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
10 vehicles my cost, each price is different,
Mm-hmm.
purchase price. So I want to receive each vehicle with a different cost group, so that I can able to see my details, like at what cost I have received and at what cost I have sold.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Yeah. Yeah. So that is possible, right? That can be done.
How like at what level?
So at the receipt level itself,
So
at
when
the
you
receipt
are
level,
giving example, that time you include this example also.
mhm.
Single item with different serial numbers and different lot numbers with different cost groups.
I think what Deepak is saying is when we do the practicals, when you take an example and do it, then we will
Mhm.
take the scenario and do it.
Okay. Yeah. So if you see here, okay, the cost group assignment. Okay, so you'll have these things will be like coming under rules section. We will have to write rules so that these things will be taken care of. So inventory cost group and warehouse management cost groups. So what is the difference? So in inventory, it will be assigned to sub inventory, but on your WMS, it is in on hand balances only. And from beginning to end, it is going to remain same in WMS. It is not going to change anytime whenever it is transferred to different sub inventory. But in inventory, every time, right? So it is going to change in every sub inventory transaction. So we will discuss that. Yeah. Okay. So coming to this task assignment. Okay. So task assignment is like as we discussed some time ago. So every resource should be eligible for some of the tasks. in warehouse, and that will be based on the department and the skills. Okay, so suppose these two users have been given the skill set of hazardous material training, hazardous picking equipment qualified. So they can be assigned only the task for picking or material transfer or management of these hazardous materials. This group of people can be created in a department called as picking, so they can be only responsible for picking because they have the skills as picking qualified. And these can be done in pallet picking or case picking. So based on the department, some of the users will be eligible and they can be assigned those tasks and they will be responsible for completion of the task assigned to them. The setups for these things we will discuss later on. Now, because we are just going over looking at the overview, so just wanted to go on a quick note on each of these things so that we are comfortable in our for our future sessions. So coming to rules and rules engine. Okay, so this is the heart and soul of our WMS, as we all know. So rules are nothing but we can write some of the restrictions and requirements in our for our business scenarios, and Oracle provides us the flexibility to have them in WMS. So we have the specific screen where we can write the picking rule, put away rule, and all those other rules. Okay, and why is this needed? Because this will reduce the need of customization, because if rules are not there, then we will have to go through the customization route. But in rules, we can write your own SQL query to have your restrictions, and that will help us for mostly our put away tasks and picking allocations. So what does the rule engine uses? Rule engine will use your material allocations for picking and put away locations, cost groups, label printing, your task type assignments, and operation plans. So we have discussed all of them in detail earlier. If you see the material allocations for picking, okay, so we have a lot of materials, but which of them should be picked based on what picking methodology you want, first in first out or last in first out? What restrictions do you want to place there? Okay, what are your stacking norms? All those things can be set up in using your rules engine. Similarly, put away, so you can decide the put away locations. You can decide, system can check and suggest empty locators. System can do commingling, all those things. We have a lot of seeded rules as well, but we have option of adding our own rules also. Similarly, you can have the cost groups, so these can also be set up. Label printing is important because in inventory, as we had a question in first session, that with just inventory and MSCA also we can have the label printed at some of the business scenarios. But for WMS, it makes much more like specific. Like suppose you want a specific type of label to be printed for one of the suppliers, so for that you can write a rule, and everything else will be taken care of. So these things are the advantages of WMS rule engine. And task type assignment, as I told, like suppose we have orders, cycle count, so these are the task types and their assignment can be decided through these rules. And then at last, the operation plans, as we discussed earlier. So locator based consolidation, LPN based consolidation, all these things will come under this. Rule setup, how do you set up the rules? So there are three hierarchies, I would say. So number one is you will write a rule first in your rules window. Once this rule is written, you can assign that rule to a strategy. For example, you have like like in this case, let us say we have three types of SKUs here, right? So suppose when fan is coming, you have a separate rule for that. When Wire is coming, you have separate rule for that. When light is coming, you have separate rule for that. Okay. When RMA material is coming, you have separate rule for accept. When RMA is coming, you have separate rule for reject. So what you can do is you can have all these set up in one of the strategies, and then that strategy can be assigned in this workbench. So this is the hierarchy how it is set up. So in the workbench, you will have all the strategies. You can see the picking strategy, put away strategy. So a strategy is a combination of rules, and in the workbench, all these strategies are assigned. That is how it is set up here. Then we have some of the sort criteria that you will see tomorrow when we discuss in detail what is the sort criteria. For example, uh, you want to sort some of the do the sorting also, right? So Oracle will provide you that facility directly on the rules screen only. So here in this case, if you see, there are some strawberries that are expiring next week. They're also excellent. These 2 weeks are also excellent. 3 weeks also excellent. So all these things you can set up in sort criteria. Okay. So if you can set up the default rules also. So all the good, average, and excellent, any kind of materials there. So it can be accepted and it can be allocated against a sales order likewise. As I discussed the strategies here, right? So list of rules and different levels. So and then assigning strategies to the workbench. So there are some types of rules that are not assigned against any strategy. They are directly linked to an organization. So your task type, label format, and operation plan selection rules. These three things should not or cannot be assigned against any strategy or any workbench. They can directly be assigned to an organization. And there is a rule weight also. Just keep a note of it, because the weight that you will give on the rule, it will consider the weightage of the rule and will pick that rule first. For example, if for one you have given 999 and for other you have given 800, so the higher weightage will be considered first. Similarly, we have the consistency requirement. So all these things, right? So these things, we have a separate session for rules tomorrow, because the rules are the most important point. So we will discuss it tomorrow in detail. You have a specific rule simulator also given by Oracle. So if you want to create and debug the picking and put away processes, so rule simulator will help you that. So whenever we have created some of the rule and we want to test it out, so in that case the rule simulator is going to help us in that process. So we can test the rules, strategies, and rule processes, all of them. Next come the label printing. So this is a value-added service provided by our Oracle in WMS. So we have here we have shown some types of labels like the customer labeling, okay, and receipt labeling and manufacturing. So I'll just go for one example. So suppose while receiving, you have a requirement that whenever you receive an item, a label should get printed that you will paste on your container or on the box. So that can be set up using your label printing. And as I gave one of the examples earlier, like using the rules workbench rules engine, you can have specific to one supplier also, like which label you want to get printed when. So most of the customizations can be taken can be avoided, and we can also add our own fields in the labels even though it's not seeded. So
So
that feature
Anshuman,
is,
hello,
yeah,
Anshuman,
yes.
for this label printing, see,
Mhm.
can we set the parameters and everything, the specific formats, everything we can set up, or we have to define our own XML?
No, you don't have to define your own XML. You have to just set up your label format, okay, and then assign that label format to business type and define your printer, and whenever you trigger that business flow, so your XML will be generated. That XML you
Can you
can
show the
push.
example? One of the example for in the workshop.
Okay, so let me give you one example. Okay,
No, no,
so
not now.
Not now,
We'll
in the
practice.
workshop.
When you're doing the practicals, we can take this example and then show it to us.
okay, sure. Okay, so what are the label types here? Okay, so we have like the material label type. Okay, serial label type, location label type, web contents. So there are a lot of seeded label types that are defined by Oracle. Okay, so in the label types you will have different fields. Okay, for example, in material label type you will have the item number, org, like n number of fields. Similarly, in serial number type you will have specific to serial number. Likewise, so you have a lot of them here, like LPN contents, LPN summary, shipping contents. So based on your business needs, you can see and check what exactly which label type you want to use, and that can be configured against a business flow.
And we can have barcodes also printed again in the labels, right?
Definitely, that is the exact point of printing labels.
Yeah.
Because if you want to minimize the effort, barcodes are a must in warehouse, right? So for suppose you identify some of the fields, let us say items, LPNs, okay, lots and serials. So you can have barcodes printed for all
Yeah.
these fields. And let me tell you one more other feature also. So Oracle has one feature whereon you can have a concatenated barcode, right? So you can have your item, lot, serial in one barcode itself, which are separated by some of the fields. Okay, and then if you scan it at one go, it can be populated 3 or 4 fields, however you want, on your handle device. So that feature is also there, but you need to do some specific setups and customizations. So that is very much there.
I
But
think we are
yeah,
using for subinventory and locator.
oh, okay. Yeah, so that is like I think concatenation you are using.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is like I think Oracle provides us with 3 seeded concatenations. One is subunitary locator, one is PO revision, and there is one more that I'm missing. So these 3 are seeded. For other fields, we have to do some customizations and all. So most probably in subunitary locator, when you scan one barcode, both the subunitary locator will be populated, right?
Really populated.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is very much actually useful also, and it reduces effort.
Yeah.
So here we have defined like what is the use of label format. So it defines the fields that appears on the label. For example, in label format, we define this SN, item description, and UM, right? So these are the fields, and the data will be coming from the transaction. So whenever you do a transaction, the XML will have this data, which you can push to your third-party software, where this label design will be there, and it can print the label. And you can have a barcode also against each of them if you want. And there's second setup, assigning label type to business flows, that I'm speaking again and again. So you can assign a label type. For example, you assign this material label type. Okay, this one against some business flow. Let us say you assign this against your it's PO receipt. So whenever you do a PO receipt, this material label type will get triggered, and in that material type you can have selected fields that you want, against which all the details will be populated, and you can design the barcodes. So barcode designing and all are not seeded into Oracle, right? So that I want to make it clear. You will have to use a third-party software to design your barcodes.
Oh, it is not seated within Oracle, is it?
No. Oracle WMS is only going to push their data through XML.
Understood. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this will complete our like today's session. So there are some of the screens which I have taken a screenshot so that we can quickly go through it and you can understand the setups. Okay. So this is one of the setups called as organization parameters. Okay. So here, if you see the locator control, this is determined at sub-inventory level. Okay. And if you go to this, the locator control here, it's pre-specified. So whenever you have WMS, at least one of them should be determined at sub-inventory level. Okay. And the sub-inventory should be locator controlled. So that is a prerequisite for your enabling WMS and having running it smoothly. And we discussed about this checkbox. Okay, so whenever you check this checkbox WMS enabled, everything is same except uh, these two tabs. The first one is warehouse and second one is warehouse task management. Okay, so the warehouse task management is uh, this one. Okay, this one. So here, if you see, we have several fields over here. Okay, so you can define the pick task type, replenish task type, move order transfer task type, and move order task issue. So all these things can be defined here. If you don't, you can have your own task types defined in the system. You can map it here based as per your business requirements. Then you will have your put away tasks, then regeneration interval minutes. These three are like important, these two I would say. Okay, so what is regeneration interval minutes? Suppose a put away task is generated right now. Okay, let's first discuss about this pre-generate after receipt. So whenever this is checked, okay, so during standard receipt, when you have received an item, so system is automatically going to check for empty locators as per your put away rule, and it will be like pre-generating your put away tasks then and there. But if it is not there, until and unless your put away tasks are initiated, it will not generate your put away tasks, put away suggestions. So that is the basic difference. It is a good practice to keep this checked on in a WMS enabled warehouse so that the transactions are more smooth and something is getting automated. The regeneration interval minutes. So put away tasks. Okay, so suppose the put away tasks are going to be performed by one of the users now. Okay, but he keeps it holding for 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, so after 15 minutes, system will again check for the empty locators and then regenerate that put away task. Okay, so this will help in like more accurate put away suggestions. Otherwise, what can happen is like suppose we have been suggested to put away one of the items in one of the locators, and after 15 minutes the user goes and tries to do a put away, and maybe somebody can move some of the materials there or something can happen. So at that time the locator can be filled up. So if this is kept like this, so what will happen is the system is going to again check for the empty locators, and then it will consider for new suggestion. I hope that is clear.
Can this be grouped? Say might be say once every day or something like that.
No, I didn't get you. Please come again.
Why I'm saying is that if it is generating like for every location and all, it has to be kind of continuously kind of replenished during the operation. And if that task is open, then unless the task is closed, that bins are also locked. No.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
bins are not locked. Bins are not locked. Okay. So what is going to happen is somebody can move some of the materials there, like do through a sub-inventory transfer.
If bins are not locked, if someone is moving exactly, will that not impact?
Yeah, that is what, right? So that is why this setup is being given here, so that you can system can suggest a new locator in that case.
Yeah, but then the open transaction has to be kind of sorted out, right? That has to be closed, which was triggered first.
Yeah.
What I'm
So
trying to say is what I'm trying to say is that in another operation that I've seen, if it is like multiple kind of requests that is getting generated during the operation, then it becomes kind of a challenge. So if the replenishment can be kind of all grouped once a day, so that before operation or might be after operation they are doing it. Is it possible? Might be we are already doing it, or I'm asking something, Raj and Rajiv.
We don't actually wait for any day. Like, see, I have a query on this, but anyway, once you finish. But I think your question is, you want this process to be cumulated and do at the end of the day or start of the day? You
The
don't want to do
start
it
of
at.
the day. Otherwise, if it is in between the operation, then this normally created a kind of a disturbance. So this is what I'm trying to ask, because unless this replenishment is not closed, if not beginning end, might be somewhere in between during the lunch break or something, whatever. However, when there is no heavy traffic of operations, no, so accordingly the min and max is kind of monitored.
Sishay, there are a couple of things over here. One is you talk about the min-max spanning replenishment, which happens at the day end.
Hmm.
Okay. And when you talk about the regular stuff like the purchase order shipment, if it's a big shipment load and all, it happens after working hours. They do it probably at around 5 or something. That is when they load it.
Mhm.
Okay. Now picking, when it comes to sales order picking, it is based on it is basically demand driven. So whenever there's a sales order that needs to be picked, it is picked. So there's no
Mhm.
schedule per se for that.
We may have scheduled time also for that, no? Because I don't know how it is. There is a timeline, and beyond that timeline, we say, okay, we cannot deliver today, so we keep that picking. And might be in some operations, but this is when we pick. This is when we stage. This is when we load, and whatever comes after that might be in the evening we load, or might be next day we load.
For that you're talking about the internal replenishment, not to the
Yeah, what
customers or
I'm trying
suppliers.
to what I'm trying to say is that this is system with operation. If that can be consolidated also. Mainly, I'm asking this for replenishment, not for picking or.
Okay, understood. So replenishment currently, I think we have two or Rajiv, you have two or three
Yeah,
rounds
yeah.
that you do, right? To
Yes, yes.
replenishment the workout.
Right, right. We have again. We don't wait for any end of the day, but we have basically it has to match with our delivery vehicle because we can have a clear cutoff time for every vehicle which
Yeah,
goes to multiple routes. So we do this release at a time when it is to match with that branch deliveries,
demand. Okay,
branch demand. So, but then we don't actually wait for the end of the day. It happens throughout the day.
throughout the day. Okay.
Yeah, throughout the day. Whatever demand is it till that time it will pick, and then for the next trip again the demand between that those two interval again it will be picked.
And you're replenishing it to the staging, or
Yeah, it gets once order gets it goes to staging and from there it gets shipped.
okay, so, okay.
But the next time when I run the planning engine, automatically takes into consideration the WIP inventory, whether it is in staging or in transit, everything is
Yeah.
considered before the next one is
Yeah,
taken. So
actually, the replenishment that I was referring to might be not this one. I was referring from higher bins to the pick phases, actually.
shifting, okay, that we are talking about from primary to secondary, something like that, from the reserve
Yeah, yeah,
location to
from
the
because
location.
yeah, for to the pick
Mm.
phases,
Okay.
mainly. I was referring to this Rajan for the one that we were discussing. No, if the storage is kept in the showroom, how the replenishment should
Yeah,
work.
yeah. So that would be basically min-max planning that we're talking about.
Yeah,
So
and
probably,
yeah,
yeah, that's right. So what, for that also, we need to have a schedule, say, which runs every an hour or 2 hours, and whenever it goes below that minimum thing, we need to replenish that. Yeah, this is for the KE part, right?
yeah, KE part
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Okay, clear.
Anshuman, I have one quick question. See, you talked about this put away for empty locators, no? For a
Hmm. Yeah.
see currently what we do is we have I mean our Deepak has developed very I mean detailed put away rules. But when we any new item comes in, what we currently do is if an item is not assigned to any specific see we have two way. One is that the stock is currently lying in specific locator, or the stock there are certain cases where an item is defaulted to a specific locator. So we have fixed certain locators for a specific item. When a
Okay.
new item comes in, what we do is the put away rule doesn't look for an empty location and identify and bin it. But what we do is we had defaulted a specific locator, let's say some
Hmm.
name and the new locator, and everything gets bin there. From there we do a subunity transfer to the respective locator. So my question is, if we use this, we have some binning rules. You said you'll be looking at the empty locators. You look at the empty locators by looking at whether the locator contains any stock, or whether any default locators are also item is assigned to a locator. What is an empty locator for you?
No. Okay. And for empty locator in Oracle is like it's completely empty. There is nothing there
Okay,
and
but
not
if
assigned to any item.
okay, not assigned,
So
so it is a mix of both. It is not assigned and also the stock is not available.
yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if such case, does it take into consideration, for example, see like we are into automobiles, so we have let's say 1,000 location empty, but each
Hmm.
item is may not be suitable for every. For example, a bumper will be having a specific bumper type. We have nuts and bolts and brake pads, so different size volume of item. Does
Hmm.
system takes into consideration on what kind of volume of if we have an item which is having a specific volume, it can suggest a specific locator based on the volume
Yes.
or the number of.
Yes. Yes. We can define that. See, the locators. First of all, you'll have to do two things. Okay. The locators that you have defined. So you will have its length, breadth, and height also.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you can define that in Oracle first. Second, at the item level already you can define the volume, length, weight, and height. And then you can
Mm-hmm.
write a specific rule so that it accommodates into that particular locator. If it finds a space where it
Mm-hmm.
can be stacked in that particular locator, then it system can suggest that particular locator.
Okay, and also if there are multiple quantities going into the same locator, based on it will consider the total volume of the part which is going to locator, and it can assign a new locator. That also it can do.
Yeah, see, suppose okay, let us say you have bumpers, right? So they are big parts.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Mm-hmm.
will have specific places for them in warehouses. Let us say that they will be on the ground floor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's say bumpers can be stacked one over another. Let's say four pieces.
Okay.
So the system, what it will do is, let us say you have already put one piece in that particular locator for now. So next
Mm-hmm.
time when a bumper arrives in your inventory, okay, it will find that okay, the locator that where bumper is sitting is this, and still it has places for three more according to the dimensions that you have given. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely it will suggest there.
Okay. And we can also have for a new item, and we can also have a priority that I may have a bumper in zone 1, 2, 3, but I want for any new item, it should be automatically assigned to zone 2, not the one which is closer to me. So all those can be built in there also within the locator.
See, from the rules engine, we can have that.
Mm-hmm.
We can
Okay.
have
Okay.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So that
Right.
is the like flexibility it's offering, right? So you can have anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the matter of writing the correct rules, but you'll have to consider one thing more, that the more stringent you will make the system, like more rules, the more difficult it is for you to run the warehouse,
Yeah,
because it
okay.
will not allow you to like have flexibility. Every time it will suggest somewhere, you'll have to go there and put away, right? So it's good to have a specific set of rules, but not very specific, like to each and every part. So you can have for like for bumpers, you can have it, and you can define for bumpers, or and also you have the flexibility of overriding also,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Which we
So I
use.
hope you are aware of that.
Yeah,
Suppose
yeah, we
you
are
don't
using.
want to put it here, then you can override the put away suggestions.
Yes, yes, we are using it. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So there is this skip task wait minutes. Okay. So this is another important tab. So here, suppose if we enter a value in this skip task wait minutes, so the number mentioned over here is that a task skipped by the user will be held by the system before it is returned to the pending task list. So suppose there is a task that is assigned to a user now, okay, and he has opened that task in his handle device, but he's not performing for 1 minute, okay, then the system will the screen will close and that task will return back to pending. It will not be held up by that particular user. So the minimum we can keep it 1 or 2 minutes is better. Okay. And I also did little bit query on the pending task question we had in the first session. Okay, so suppose we had a question, right? So suppose we have 4 5 pending tasks and we have 2 resources. So if resources are eligible to perform those pending tasks, okay, the order picking, let us say, and they are defined correctly for order picking task type. So without assigning also, they will, once they log into their system, it will be visible on their handle device. So that is
Perfect. So this
possible.
is what we are looking for. Okay.
Yeah, that is possible. And for the notification part also, I checked. The feature still is not there provided by Oracle. The notifications on
Okay.
your handle device.
Okay.
So still it's under, I think, in enhancement phase. So
Mhm.
not sure when it will come, but it's still not there. Not even in 12.2.11.
Okay. So Rajiv, for this, what probably we were thinking was you can have one screen
Mm-hmm.
with developed, and you can put that in your warehouse where all the pending tasks will be visible on the screen automatically.
See, we have Deepak has prepared already one form which
Yeah.
shows all those. Yeah, similar to that, something like that you're saying, no?
No,
Wherein,
if you already have it, then no, no, no.
no, no, one of the operation we have just released for orders which are released state. We are showing one form where we are
Okay.
showing it.
Because
But
based on
see,
that, your guys will know that there are orders that needs to be worked on, and they can
mhm.
automatically log into their mobile application. So and pick up the task and perform.
Yeah, but again,
Show the
there
tasks.
will be yeah, you will be showing this anyway this warehouse control board in detail again, no? Of course, it
Yeah.
is manual. I understand now. Let us see something can be done or used for some purpose, but then without the channel or grouping within the outbound area itself will be very difficult for us because there will be huge order spending if everything is mixed.
No, no, no. See, this will be a custom screen, so we will decide on how to group and how to display.
Okay, you're talking about totally custom screen similar. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
And then we have already discussed this operations outbound operation plan. The cluster picking is also there. The cluster picking is an optional screen. I have never used it. I just know a little bit on that. So let me explain it. So here you can enter the maximum clusters that can be used for cluster picking. So whenever you define the clusters in the system, so this will be the default value that will be seen on the mobile handle devices whenever they are choosing to use cluster picking. And then you have the operation plan, that is outbound operation plan. So you have the LPN, locator and locator and LPN. If LPN based constellation is selected, so all picked materials have to be consolidated together and will be directed to be dropped into the same LPN. Okay.
Anshuman, just one doubt on the cluster picking. So when you said cluster picking, just want to get an idea. Like, let's say I have two different branches where I am placing an order, and currently what we do, we pick it based on move orders. When you say cluster picking, at the time of releasing these orders, the order releasing is done at the same time for multiple orders, so that you can pick it in together, or how does it work in general?
I'm not very sure about this cluster picking part. If you
Because
want
see,
me to, like, I will. Yeah.
I'll tell you what is the requirement. See, today, let's say I have two branches. Two branches have ordered some stock orders of, let's say, 100 items each. Now, today, what we
Okay.
do is we send the pickers for picking one guy for one branch, because we are picking it by move orders, and then the second guy for some. But then the same guy will be moving into two different zones at the same time.
Okay.
If cluster picking has something to do with, like, two orders can be picked at the same time based on the area where they are going, and then it can be done at the time of sorting based on the customers. I just want to get some whether it will be of any use at that stage.
Okay. So I will take a note on this also. Let me do a research today. We can discuss tomorrow.
Yeah, and on that point of Raj's, Ayushman, what Raju you are referring to is something called wave picking.
Yeah, we are
Yeah,
using
wave picking is there. Yeah, wave picking is there. Yes.
So what you're referring to is wave picking, right? Combining so that it is all brought to the staging and then
it's the wave picking. Okay.
Yeah.
Wave picking
we
is
have
very
some-
much there in WMS. We can use.
But I think that so. What is cluster picking? Nothing to do with the wave picking. This is something else.
No. Yeah, this is different. This is maybe based on the zones. But yeah, let me find out a little bit more. I have not worked on this. Yeah. And then outbound operation plan is like constellation. Again, we are discussing on that. So locator based constellation selected. So all the picked material will be consolidated into one locator. And if locator and LPN is selected, so locator and LPN means the picked material will be consolidated into locators plus constellation LPN suggestions within the constellation locators are also provided. So this is like the basic warehouse org parameter setup. Okay, so let us go through the other important setup screens also that will be specific to WMS. Okay, so we have this shipping parameters that we define here. Okay.
Undoubtedly,
So
data
here
science
you
is the
can
most
see several
evolutionary technology of the era.
fields.
It's all about deriving useful
So in
insights from data
these
in order
fields,
to solve
if you see,
real-world complex problems.
we have the release
Hi all,
sequence
I
rule.
welcome you to this
So all
session
of these
on data
are
science full
defined
course
separately.
that contains
The
everything
most
that you need to
important
know
part
in order to
here
master
are
data
your
science.
default
Now,
state
before we
supplementary
get
and default
started, let's
stage
take a look
locator.
at the agenda.
So these are
The
also
first module
important
is an
for your
introduction to
cross
data
docking
science
also,
that covers all
and
the
sometimes they may
basic
impact your
fundamentals
pick
of
release
data
process.
science. Followed by this, we have statistics
So
and probability module, where you'll
this
understand
is
the
specific to
statistics and the
WMS.
math behind data science
Others
and
are
machine
the
learning
same as
algorithms.
inventory
The
and
next
order
module
management.
is the basics of
So
machine
these things
learning,
need to be
where we'll
defined
understand
just to
what
make sure
exactly
that
machine
this is
learning
correctly
is,
defined
the
in the
different
system.
types of machine learning, the different
Coming
machine
to
learning
this
algorithms,
mobile
and so
application
on.
architecture.
The next module is the supervised learning
We are
algorithms
using
module,
MSCA or
where we'll
Telnet.
start by understanding
So
the
this is a
most
basic
basic algorithm, of
overview,
which
like
is
how it's
linear
connected.
regression.
So
The next module
mostly
is the
it's
logistic
technical.
regression module,
So
where we'll see
you
how
have RF
logistic
device
regression can be
in
used
which
to
the
solve
screen will look like
classification
this,
problems.
that is connected to your
After this,
RF
we'll
base
discuss
station,
about decision
which is
trees,
via
and
LAN
we'll
or
see how
WAN
decision trees can be
is
used to
connected to
solve
your
complex
MWS
data-driven
servers,
problems.
and which is
The next
in
module
turn
is
connected
random forest.
to your
Here we'll understand how random
application
forest
database.
can be used to solve classification problems and
So
regression
I'm
problems
trying to
with
show
the
you
help
some
of
of the
use cases and
screens
examples.
here
The next
of
module we'll be
Telnet,
discussing is the K
which is
heuristic
via
and
LAN or
module,
WAN,
where
like
we'll understand how
your
KNN can
handheld
be used to
devices,
solve
but in a
complex
graphical manner.
classification problems.
So this is Telnet
Followed by
screen,
this,
little
we'll
bit
look at the
raw.
naive bias module,
So
which is
here in
one of the most
Telnet, this is the
important
first one is
algorithms
your
in the Gmail spam
login
detection.
screen. So
The next
here you can
algorithm
have
is
your
support
username
vector
and
machining,
password,
where
and you
we'll
can log in.
understand how SVMs can be
So
used to
good
draw
thing
a
is that
hyperplane between
we can
different
have the
classes of
barcodes for
data.
this also.
Finally, we'll
Most
move
of the
on to the
warehouses we have
unsupervised
seen
learning
users
module,
will
where we'll
print their
understand how
barcodes
k-means can be
and
used for
they
clustering
will scan it
and
to
how
log
you can
in.
perform market basket analysis
Once you log in,
by
then you
using
will be able to see
association
all
using
the
mining.
assigned
The
mobile
next module
responsibilities
is
against
reinforcement
this
learning,
particular
where we'll
username
understand the different
here.
concepts of
The
reinforcement learning along with a
WHSCMGMT, that
couple
is
of
warehouse management,
demonstrations.
is the
Followed
seeded
by this, we'll look at the deep
warehouse
learning
management
module,
mobile
where we'll
responsibility
understand what
that is
exactly
provided by
deep
Oracle.
learning is, what are
And
neural
here you
networks,
have
the
several
different types
options,
of neural networks,
that
and
is
so on.
inbound,
The last
outbound,
module is the
warehousing,
data science interview
manufacturing,
questions
tasks,
module, where we'll
inquiry,
understand the important
others, and
concepts of
then
data science
of
along
course
with a
change
few tips in
responsibility.
order to ace the
In
interview.
inbound, you will
Now,
have
before we
PO
get
receipt,
started,
RMA
make sure you
receipt,
subscribe to
and
Edureka YouTube
item-based
channel
receipt,
in order to stay updated
and
about the most trending
ASN receipt.
technologies.
All these things will be there, and of course we
Data
have the
science
put
is
away
one of the
also.
most in-demand
Then in
technologies
outbound,
right now. Now, this is probably
we
because
have
we're generating data at
all
an
the outbound
unstoppable
related,
pace,
like
and
the ship
obviously we need to
confirm
process and make sense out of this
and
much data. This is exactly where data
directed
science comes in.
tasks.
In
All these
today's
things
session, we'll be
will
talking
come
about
under the
data science
outbound
in depth.
section.
So let's
And
move
in
ahead and take
warehousing,
a
you
look at
will
today's
have
agenda. We're going
all
to
the
begin
stuffs
with
related to
discussing the
warehousing,
various
like
sources of
supplementary
data
transfer,
and how the
LP,
evolution of
unpack,
technology
unpack,
and
split.
introduction of IoT and
All
social
these things
media
will
have
come
led
here.
to the need of
Even
data
lot,
science.
split, and
Next,
merge.
we'll discuss how
And then in
Walmart is
manufacturing,
using
all the
insightful
manufacturing
patterns
like
from their
whip,
database to increase the
move,
potential of
completion,
their
assembly
business.
things will
After
come.
that, we'll see what
In
exactly
tasks,
data
you
science
can
is.
have
Then
the
we'll move on and discuss who a data scientist is, where
different
we'll
types
also
of
discuss the
tasks,
various
screen,
skill sets
system,
needed to
directed
become a
tasks.
data scientist.
So once
Next, we'll
we
move on
have
to see the
the
various
screens
data
with
science
us,
job
so
roles such as
it is
data analyst, data
it will be
architect,
more
data
fun to
engineer,
use.
and so on. After
Inquiry
this,
is
we'll cover the
something
data
very
lifecycle,
useful
where
while
we'll
working
discuss
in
how data
warehouse.
is extracted,
So you have
processed, and finally
different types
used
of
as a
inquiry.
solution. Once we're done
So
with that,
you
we'll
have
cover the
LP and
basics of machine
inquiry,
learning,
locator
where we'll see what
inquiry,
exactly
item
machine learning
inquiry.
is and the different types
So
of machine
on the
learning.
go in the
Next,
warehouse,
we'll
just
move
with
on
a
to the
scanner, we
k-means
can have
algorithm and
all
we'll discuss a
the
use case of the k-means
inventory
clustering. After
report
which, we'll
with
discuss the
us
various
whenever we
steps
scan
involved
an
in the
item or
k-means
LPN on
algorithm.
locator
And then we'll
specific to
finally
that
move on to the
particular
hands-on
parameter that we have
part,
provided.
where we'll use the k-means
Okay.
algorithm to cluster movies
Then
based on
if
their
you come to
popularity
this
on social media
warehousing, you
platforms
can
like
see
Facebook.
we have
At the
inventory.
end of today's session, we'll also
This is
discuss
a
about
sub
what a
menu.
data
Under
science
this also you
certification
will
is
have
and why you should
sub
take it up.
transfer and
So
all,
guys, there's a lot to cover
and
in today's
labels.
session. Let's jump into
So
the first topic.
labels, we have the options
Do you
to
guys
print
remember the times when
reprint
we had
labels that are
telephones
already
and we had to
pre-printed.
go to PCO
LPN
booths in order
transactions
to make a
means
phone call?
LPN
Now, those
pack,
times were
unpack,
very
split.
simple because we didn't
And lot
generate a lot of
transactions
data.
means LPN
We didn't even store the
lot
contacts in our
split,
phones or
merge.
our telephones.
And
We used to
update means
memorize
if you
phone
want to
numbers
update
back then, or
any
we used to
information
have a
related
diary of
to
all
any
our
LPN
contacts.
lot,
But these days
that
we
you
have
can do. And if
smartphones which
quality
store a
check
lot
is
of
enabled,
data.
so
So there's
quality check
everything
can be
about
used
us in
here.
our mobile phones. We have
Similarly, in
images, we
inbound,
have
you
contacts, we
have
have various
receive.
apps, we have
In
games.
receive, you will
Everything is
have
stored
all
in our
the,
mobile
as I
phones these days.
explained, PO receipt,
Similarly, the
RMA,
PCs that we
ASN,
use in the earlier times, it used to
all these
process very
things.
little
Internal
data.
shipment
Alright,
receipt
there was
can
not a lot
be
of data
found here.
processing needed
Item receive
because
means
technology
the same
wasn't
receipt,
evolved that
but it
much.
will be
So if
initiated
you
based
guys
on the
remember,
item.
we used floppy disk back then,
So when is
and
this
floppy disk was used to
useful? This
store
is
small
useful
amounts of
when
data. But later on,
we
hard
don't
disks were
know
created, and those
the
used to
correct
store
document
GBs of
number,
data.
but we
But
know the
now, if you
item
look
number. So
around,
we'll
there's
scan the
data
document.
everywhere around us.
Sorry,
Alright, we
scan the
have
item,
data
and then
stored
we
in the
can
cloud. We have data in
we have
each
the
and every
list of
appliance at our
values
houses.
of the
Similarly, if you look
eligible
at smart
POs that are
cards
ready
these
to be
days, they're
received,
connected to
and we
the
can select
internet,
the
they're
correct
connected
one
to our
and
mobile
move
phones,
ahead with
and this also
item
generates
receipt.
a lot of
The
data.
inspect is
What we
nothing
don't
but
realize is that
the
evolution of
one example
technology has
where the
generated a lot of
so
data.
the
Alright, now
inspection
initially there was very
required
little
was
data,
there.
and most of it was even structured.
So
Only a
we can
small
have
part of the
the
data
inspect
was unstructured or
go to
semi-structured.
inspect button,
And in
enter
those
the
days, you
correct
could use
LPN
simple
number that is
BI tools
eligible
in
for
order to
inspection,
process all
and
of this
move ahead
data
with the
and make sense
inspection
out of it. But now we
transaction.
have way too much
LP
data,
and
and in
unload
order to
is
process this much
like
data, we need more
suppose
complex algorithms.
you have
We need a better
doing
process.
some
All right,
transaction
and this is
and
where
you
data science comes
don't
in.
want to
Now, guys, I'm not going to get into
go
the depth
with
of data
that
science
particular
yet. I'm sure all of you
load
have
task,
heard of
so you will
IoT
unload
or
the LP
Internet of Things.
back.
Now, did you
And
guys
then
know that we produce
sometimes also what is
2.5
happening
initially
is
there
the
was very
LPN is
beta
logged
and most of it would have been
message
structured.
will
And this only
come
accelerated
on
because
different
the
devices.
data was
So at
unstructured
that
or
time you
Internet
can
and in
use
those
the
days, we would use simple DI tools in
return
order to
split,
process all of this
return.
data and make sense out of it.
Return
Communicate
split,
and transfer
I'm not
data
aware
on
of.
internet.
The
So
return
various
is
devices are connected with
something
each other through
related to
Ethernet
your
and they communicate with each other.
returns,
Right now, the
like
communication happens by exchange of
return to
data or by
another
generation into the depth of data
In
science
Outbound,
yet.
if you see,
I'm
we
sure
have
all
the
we drive
packing.
IoT or TVs,
So
our
in
coffee
packing,
machine,
it is
refrigerators,
differentially
washing
categories,
machines,
all
and
of it will
almost
be
everything
seen.
else that we use in
Similarly,
bytes of
if you
data
have
each day.
enabled
These
hot
things is
transfer,
only
so hot
accelerating with the
transfer
growth of
can
IoT.
be done from anywhere.
IoT
Shipping
or
will
rate.
have all your
Guys,
ship
IoT is just a
confirm,
fancy term that means
quick
zettabytes.
ship and direct
And
ship,
one zettabyte
and
is
then
equal to
Outbound
communicate
move.
and transfer
That
data.
means
So
if you want
according
to
to
move
the
something
way
to
devices
staging,
are connected to each other, it's
and
estimated that
staging
by
is
communicating
also
with
there.
each other.
Within
Right
the
now, the
staging
communication
lanes, if you want
happens
to move
by
something from
IoT
here
will
to there
generate more than
and drop by
500
location,
zettabytes of
from
data
one
for the
location, if
vehicles
you
we
want to
drive,
move
and this
everything.
number will only increase through our
So
coffee machine,
that will come here.
refrigerators, washing machines, and almost everything else
Manufacturing
that we
is
use
the usual
analyzing and
manufacturing
managing this
stuff.
much data. Interconnected it's only going to cost us
Legacy
a
digital transactions
so
in
guys,
the
having to
assembly
deal with
interior,
this much data is not
automation and all.
something measured in
Tasks
zettabytes,
is something
and one
important.
zettabyte no longer
So
can rely
you
on
have
traditional
to
data processing
direct a
methods. So
task
according to exactly why survey by
find
it's estimated that
the
now let's
correct
not get into
task
the
assigned to
details
you.
yet. Moving on,
And
let's
if
see
you
how
want
social
to
media and IoT will generate more
load
than
or manually
500
drop
zettabytes. The fact that we are
that should
all
be
in
eligible
love
for
with
that.
and this number will only increase actually generating a lot
As I
of
told,
data analysis. It's certainly
change
one
sign
of
on
the
means
imagine processing,
you can
analyzing. Now all these numbers that you see on the
change
screen are only going to cost us every
username from
minute of
which
the
you
day.
have
So guys,
signed
having
on
this
to
number with this much
the
data is not
inquiry
something that
is
traditional AI tools can
approximately,
one
as I told
longer
you,
can rely on
item,
traditional
LPN,
data
status,
loaded
command,
in a that's exactly
constellation
why
locator.
and
So all
similarly
these
on
things
Twitter approximately 300
let's not get into the
thousands
in
yet.
our warehouse
Moving on, let's see how social media is
At last
adding
comes
on
the
to the
warehouse
generation.
control
So guys,
mode.
imagine in
So
one
this is
fact that
something
you're all
we
in
should
love
discuss in
imagine
detail
in
further.
24 hours. It's actually
So
generating a lot of data for us.
let's get used to with this interface first. So whenever you navigate to this warehouse control
trying to figure out
window,
every minute of the day.
so
And this number
the
is
first tab that you see
analyzing
here
this much data is going to be
is
very
your
hard with
task tab.
traditional tools or traditional methods.
So here you will have to first select the
In a
source.
minute. Data science is similarly on Twitter,
The source for which you want to data see that task. So if it is a sales order
and
or
analyze
one
the
task,
entire
you have to
data.
select
So guys,
one.
it's going to
If it is related to
expand
manufacturing, you'll
and
have to
then
select
guys, apart from social media
and
and
if
use
it
the amount
related
there
to
are other
warehouse
factors as
like
well.
cycle
Social
count
media
or
it's
any move
unimaginable.
order
Imagine processing
task
these
is
days
there.
all our
So you have to
analyzing it
select
and then trying to
warehouse.
figure out, you know,
And
the
if it is related to cross dock,
we even
so you have to
analyzing
select the
small
cross
data
dock.
is going to be very hard with traditional
Once this is
tools or
done,
traditional
then you can
methods.
select the
Not only that,
status.
when we stream music and we
So
data science is a
it is
simple
the
process
LVC
that is
pending,
generating a
active,
lot of useful
queued,
information. Not
loaded,
to forget,
task.
we've also got it's just going to
So whenever a
process and
task
analyze
is
the
created
entire
against the
and then
sales order,
it's just
we will
going
take
to
example of
extract
sales order.
basically
So
tracks
all
our heart
the
rate and apart from social media and
tasks
IoT.
will be in the
Education
pending
is
state.
also an online thing right now. That's exactly what you are
When
doing
does
right
change
now.
to
These days,
queue?
with the emergence
So
of the
when you
internet, we
go
now
click
perform
manage
all our bills
and then
online. We shop
assign
online.
that
Obviously,
task
it
to
is
someone,
helping us,
it
but
will
we are unaware of how
against
much data
the
we are
task list of
generating.
that person.
What can be done
That
not
is
only
what
that
is the
when we
meaning of
stream
queue.
music and we watch videos on YouTube that we generate
When does
to our benefit.
this
Well,
change
that's
to active?
exactly not to forget we've also brought
Active is
data science
nothing
is
but
all about
suppose you have
now there are
assigned some
various
of the
watches
tasks
like
to a
data
user
and using it to
and
grow your heart rate and it generates
what
data
is
about the
happening is
health of
he has
data science.
opened
Education
that
is
task
also an
once
online thing
already.
right now. That's exactly
So at
what
that
you are doing right
time
now.
the
So
task
guys, with the
is
emergence of the
active state.
internet, we now
Whenever the
perform
task
all
is
our
in
over
active
20,000. Okay,
or
obviously this is helping us, but we
status,
are unaware. Okay, now it's
it
how much
cannot
data we are
be
generating.
changed
Private
back to
cloud, what can be
pending.
done which will be able to process and
So
2.5
if we
petabytes
want
data
to
that
do
are
that,
generated to our
we'll
benefit.
have
The reason
to
behind
either
that's
repeat that
exactly what
task
data science
or
does.
ask
Data
the
science
user
is
to
all about
close
useful
his
insights about
window on
customers'
screen
shopping
on his
and
Outbound.
using it to grow your business.
Most of the time we have
Before we
heard
get
from
into they know
users,
every
warehouse
detail about their
and
customers.
warehouse
Let's see how
managers
they know that if a
that
customer
the
buys
task
products,
status is
they might also buy
active and
so
I
guys,
want to assign it
Walmart
to
is
someone
all
else
works like
because
biggest retailer with
particular user
more
is
like
not there.
20,000 stores. They use
But
the
how
data
to
that they get from their
so you'll
customers.
have to ask the
We
user
analyze
or
biggest
log in
what
with his
cloud,
username
which
and
will
ask
be
him
able to
to
process. Now
close
let's
that
look at a
task,
few
which
cases
is
where
open to
Walmart
everyone.
actually analyze the
At
data
that time,
and the reason
once it
behind
is
Walmart
closed,
success
then
is how let's consider the
it
Halo
can be
data to get
changed to
useful
pending.
insights about
during
customers'
Halloween,
Loaded.
shopping
sales
patterns.
In
Now,
the
the data
loaded
analyst
task,
and the
what is
data
happening
scientist
is,
at Walmart, okay, and he
they
found
know
out that
every
this is
detail
detail
for
about
the
their
about
outbound
customers
part.
was
In
popular
they know
the
that
across
if a
all
in the
customer
example
brands,
buys
that you
Pop-Tarts,
gave,
they
so
might
every
also buy
Walmart
so
store
cookies.
once
was
the
selling
task
How do
is
they know
cookies
all
assigned to
of
the
this?
already.
Like,
user,
how do
But
they
they
generate
asked
the
that there
data
should
from
be
those
nobody
stores
can
now
reason
they
to
should be
now
that.
using
selling them
data
ad
that they
hoc?
get from their
Okay, so the
customers
situation
and
was
they
Yeah, see,
analyzed to
okay.
analyze to see
investigate
So
what
if
what
it
and
is
it was
actually
queued,
found
okay,
that
customers
whenever
there
the
was a
status is
simple now
queued,
let's look at a
you
few
can assign
cases
it.
where
okay,
because of
Walmart
which the
actually
cookies were
analyzed
not
the
put on
data
the
Okay,
shelves
and
they
what
they
is
figured
queued
out
so
the
because
means
customer's
it has been
issue so
assigned
let's
to a
consider the
person
item
and
Halloween
declined
and
he
the
has been
prevented
assigned
significantly
any
job.
further loss of
now
sales.
during
Yeah,
Halloween
Now,
it
another
is
such
assigned to a
example
person,
analyst
but
is
he
that
hasn't
Walmart was
started
told
his
took a
to
work.
look at
issue
the
rule
tool
binding, okay, and
Okay.
he
So
found
it
Walmart
out
can be
found
that
out
reassigned
that
to the
strawberry
previous
strawberry
owner.
pop-tart
was
sales
popular across
increased by
all
Yeah, when
many
it is
Walmart's
times
queued,
before
it
before
can be
Halloween.
every
reassigned.
So
Walmart
a
store
data
was selling
analyst at
these
Walmart
But
cookies that
let's say
identified
identified
you
the
have
but he
assigned
found
strawberry
these four
that
tasks.
Hurricane
Okay,
stores
the
and
estate
Strawberry
has
not
not
serving them
completed,
through
but
data mining. Okay,
now
so
the
guys, the
user
situation was
logs in
immediately
handled by
investigated, and it was found that for some reason, whenever there was a hurricane
the
approaching,
first
because
task status
rice
will change to
quantities were
active.
not put on the shelves for sale. So what Walmart did was they placed
So
all
when
the
it's changed
strawberry
to active,
identified as a
so
prevented
you
any
can't
before a
change
hurricane would
it
occur.
back to
So this way
active
they increase sales
because it
is
is
that
open
of
as active then.
association driven mining. This is an actual thing I'm not making it up. You can look it up on
Now
data
let us
sales.
say
Increased by 7
yeah,
times
we are
Walmart
discussing about
is
load
analyzing so a data
so
analyst at
we have
Walmart
a load and
identified
drop
the
task.
association between hurricanes and strawberry pop
So
tarts.
user
Through
has
data mining, find out. Now guys, don't ask like the relationship,
picked
right?
that
So what
particular
Walmart
item.
did is
It
they're
is
quite for some reason they use the data generated by social media to find out what products are trending. So what Walmart did was they placed all the strawberry
So
pop. An example of this is before a Walmart analyzed social media. So this way they increase sales that Facebook users were crazy about. Now guys, this is an actual thing. I'm not making it up. Immediately, you can look it up on decision, and they introduced not only that to the Walmart is analyzing. So guys, the only data Walmart is by social media is to find out all the huge amount of data that so through social media you don't find out the likes and dislikes. Instead, they process this data, analyze is they're quite and they try to draw. They use the data generated by social media. They invest find out what money products are trending and a lot of times are data analysis. Okay, they spend a lot of time analyzing Walmart in order to find any hidden pattern. That as soon as they find out crazy about pattern or association between any two products, they start giving offers
so
or
there
they
is
start
there
the
is another
Walmart
one
or
that you
something
will
along
see.
that line. The only
It is
reason
called
basically
as task
Walmart uses data in a very effective manner.
manner.
They analyze it very well. They
Most of the
process data
times,
very well,
again,
and they
the
find out
answers
that
you
they
can
process this data in order to get more customers, and then they try to draw to
I see
improve
some of the
their
tasks
life
it
from it. Okay, so
dispatches.
they invest a
It is
lot about
assigned to,
money, a lot of
let's say,
effort,
one
and a lot
user.
of
I
time.
never assigned
Now
to
let's
that
go ahead
particular
and
user.
they spend a lot
How
of
come it
time
is
analyzing
seen
data in order to find any hidden pattern. So as soon as they find out it's all about
let us say you have
pattern
four
or the
tasks.
association between any two products,
User,
they start
you
giving
have
out
assigned
offers
the
or they
first
start giving
task
discounts
to
or
user
something
one.
along that these hidden patterns. So basically,
So
Walmart can be
user
used to make
one,
data in a very
their
effective
task is
manner.
queued
They
now.
analyze it very well. They process the
Now
data
user
very
one
well.
opens
And they find
task
out the useful
first
analyzes the
in
in order to
using
get more customers or in
so
order to understand
the
what
task one
drives
status
users
will
to
change
interest
to
and to see
active.
what users want to
And
watch.
other three
And then once
tasks
they
which
find
are
out,
not
they
assigned
move
to
ahead and
anybody
look at
else,
what is
the
data. Guys,
status will
actually
change to
data has a lot of
dispatched
science is all
against
about
same
uncovering
task.
findings from data and how it's all about surfacing the hidden insights that can help companies to make smart business decisions. So guys, a big all these hidden insights or how hidden
System
data
understand
scientists
that
can
there
get
is no
used to
other
make better
person who is
decisions
going
in a
currently going
business.
to do
All
this
starts an example of this is also
so
Netflix. Whenever a Netflix
because
basically
you can see
analyzes the
four
movie
tasks
viewing
on your
pattern or
screen, but
any
you assign
search
only one
channel
to
to
the
understand
situation.
what drives user interest
So
and to
the
see what
system
they want
understand
to
that
watch, and they try to
user
understand
one
find
is
out
only
patterns
going
or what they
to go
want.
ahead and
So
complete
guys,
the four
actually
tasks.
data has they try to get all the information that they can from this data and then they use it for the betterment of the organization. Okay, that's what
It
data
is
science. Now let's
dispatched
look
to
at
him,
who is a data
and
scientist.
suppose he
So
completes
guys,
the
a
first
data
task,
scientist
the
has
next
to
task
be able to
will be
view
visible to him
data
task
through a
2,
quantitative
task 3,
lens.
task 4
All
like
starts
that.
with guys knowing math is whenever a data scientist comes across any challenging question
Now,
or any mathematics is
suppose you
important
don't
because
want
in order
him
to find out
to do the
solutions,
transaction.
you're going to build
Okay,
a
you
lot
want
of
to assign it
predictive
to
models
someone
and
else.
these
So
predictive
how will you
models
do
are
that?
going to be based on characteristics
So
of the data. So you
again,
have to be able to understand the information that the underlying mechanics of these models, and then they use it
and
for the
then he
betterment
assigned
of
the
the
3 to the other
organization
person
or the require
and then
math.
assigned
Now
it to
let's
him.
look at who is a data
Like
scientist. Misconception. So guys, a data scientist has to be able
and
to
once
view
they complete
data.
the
I'm not saying
transaction,
that
they change to
statistics isn't
completed.
important. So guys, it is very important, but it's not the only type of math that is utilized in data science.
And
There
then
are mathematics,
these are the
machine learning,
filters.
as in order to
Let's say
find
if you want to search by
we're going to
item,
build a
then
lot
you
of
enter the
predictive
item
models.
number.
Overall, you need to have a good understanding.
want to
Are going to be
find a
based
specific
on
item
parts
number.
that data science
So
you have to
you can
like
search by
to
item.
understand. So all the data
And then
science
if you
have to
enter
be
the
really good with
outbound
technology.
tab, you
Most
can
so
enter
the
the
main
order
work
number
is
or
the
sales
analyze
order
the
number.
require math
Then
that
by
they can
that also you
analyze
will be
now
able
these
to enter.
enormous data sets and work with complex algorithms.
So
Is all about all of this requires.
this is
Now I'm not saying
mostly
that statistics isn't important than Excel. It is very important. So guys, data
things that
scientists
we are
need to be
using in
very
our
efficient with coding languages, and there are few of the core machine learning algorithms,
Okay,
data
so
science
really it
based
is
on
nothing
QL,
but there are
Python.
some
So guys,
tasks
overall you need
that
to have
are
a good
like
understanding
not yet
data
released.
apart
Okay.
from tactical scientists utilize technology.
System is
So guys,
expecting
business
them to
problems
be
data
released.
scientists have to be really good
It
by
can be
data
mostly in
scientists. Okay, so
outbound
their main work is they
whenever they are
utilize also
expecting
technology
any
so that they can analyze
receipts.
know everything about these data sets
So there
and
can be
work
some
with
private
business
tasks
and
that
you
you
give
are
the entire
carrying.
data set
So at that time they will
which
be
are
in
much more
unreleased
sophisticated
status.
in every
In
aspect of the business. So guys, data
Outbound,
scientists
I have
are
never
very
seen
efficient with the
coding
getting
in
the entire
unreleased
data set, they
status.
study the data set, they analyze
Directly
it,
in
and then they
pending
build
status
data
only
science
until
into
it is
SQL,
released.
Python,
going to
be
do.
done more, or it is also important for a data scientist. So guys, having tactical acumen is just as important. So guys, business problems can be only in algorithms or being good with math and data scientists. So guys, business is
No,
also
no.
as
Until
important as
unless
these
it is
others. They
reached,
know
the sales
everything
order
about
task will
who
not
a
be
data
visible over
scientist. If
here.
you have a business, let's look at the skill sets that a data scientist to a data scientist. It always know each and every aspect
See,
of your
task
business.
means,
Okay, that's how
on
data
on
scientists
on
work.
task
They
is
get the entire data set, they
you are
study the
picking
data
from
set, they
Configurator
analyze it,
and
and then
dropping
they
it,
see
like staging
where
it.
you have to be familiar with
So
what
until
things
unless
can be done
allocations are
more,
done,
or what
system is not
maximum
going to
likelihood.
get from where it
Estimators
is
having all business
and
acumen.
from
Apart from that,
where
you
it should
should
start.
also have a good understanding
So once
in
allocations are done, then
algorithms or being
system is
good
clear.
with
Okay,
math
you need to
and
pick from
technology.
here and drop
These
it here.
concepts will
The
help
task
you
is
as
changing.
better business these other fields. So no matter what data company or role let's look at the skill sets that you're going to be expected to know. It always starts with statistics. Okay, this means that you have to know numbers from the programming language. So a good understanding of statistics is very important. And also you need to know a database query. You have to be familiar with statistics. Now the main reason why distributions are and
Then
likelihood is estimate the
there is
number and
one
packages
tab
that
at the
these
bottom,
apart
right?
from that you should
Exceptions
also
tab.
have a
So
these predefined packages have mostly algorithms and descriptors, so you don't have to actually sit
mostly
down.
it is
Concepts will help you
does
make
not
it
have
better.
any
You just
content which you
load
will
one of these
go
packages.
and
So no matter what type of company
but
or
whenever
programming
you have some
language is a
exceptions
must, you're
while
going to be at the
picking,
minimum you should know how to use the
okay,
tools and
like
the database.
you want to
Okay,
do
this
short
means that
picking,
you have to know a
right?
statistical programming
So
language like R
if
or
you have
Python. So guys,
enabled
suppose
short
that you
picking in
have to
your
know a database data sources like
that time
MySQL database. Now the main
the
reason why
exceptions will be
people
visible
prefer
over here.
R
What is
and
the
Python is you
exception?
have to because of the number of packages that these and then in order to analyze these predefined packages have
So
mostly
all the
you have to
exceptions
store
like
it in a
that.
so you don't have to actually sit down and code the algorithm. Okay, finally then you can load one of these in the data libraries and you can analyze the programming languages is the most. So this entire at the minimum you should know R or Python and a database query. So guys, extraction and now let's think is all about getting data from these different so guys, suppose that you and then putting it in a format so that you like MySQL data. Now next is data wrangling and okay, so what you have to do is you have data wrangling is one of the most and then in order to analyze and this is the most time consuming task because you have data wrangling a proper format or a proper structure. There are a lot of instances then you can load the data sets have missing values and you can analyze the data over here or they have okay, so this entire process is called extraction and you need to understand what to do with guys extraction and process where data is all about getting data from
we have two
different
aims
data then after you're done and then putting it in a format so that you can analyze after data next is data wrangling and transfer you're going to start now guys data wrangling this is where you try to make several tasks in data science okay so you can do this is the most time consuming task because different data wrangling in the data about trends outliers a lot of instances unexpected results data sets have missing values next we have machine learning null values so guys if you're a large company
It
or
just
format
helps you to manage your tasks.
or if you're working you need to understand
Assign them
where
to
the products
users or
are
unassign from
data this is
them.
where data wrangling or data
But
flexing
maybe
comes in
Oracle
the
labor
picture then
management
you
or
then
something
after
else
you're
is
done with
there
that you're going to
this
analyze the data
productivity
alright so guys after data wrangling and data
LMS
will
like
come
labor
you're going
management
to start
system,
so that's why you need
yes,
a
it
machine
will.
learning algorithm try to make so there are a few algorithms like okay so you can do this by looking at different patterns in the data the different trends outliers and all of these algorithms you have to be aware of next we have machine learning and let me tell you that you're a large algorithms which
So
can be
here,
implemented using
like
or if you're
suppose for
working
a
for a
sales order,
company
you
where
have
the
4
product
tasks.
okay
So
you
you
need to
can
have an
like
understanding
log
of
in and
machine
check
learning in
how many
Netflix
lines you
Google
get
large
already
amount of
paid,
then you have to
already
be
staged.
which is going to be the case
Right,
for
so
most of the people
if
right
you
now because
like
data large
here
amount
I
of
have
generated
clicked
at an
suppose
unstoppable
completed.
so that's
I
why
can
you
see all
need
the
a
completed
machine
tasks
learning
over here.
algorithm
So
how much of data there are a few algorithms like KNN so for now knowing
flows only
machine
can be
learning
checked here.
random forest
And not
concepts is a
labor
very
productivity you can
required
check
skill
here.
if you want to
That
become
can
all
be
of these
done.
algorithms so if you're sitting for an interview or
What
as a
will
data scientist you will and let me tell you that learning of these algorithms you will be asked how good you are using R or and how well you can implement them okay you need to have an understanding of
That you can check in the material transaction.
so guys we know that we've been generating which
At
is
the
going
end
to
of
be
the
the
day, you
case
can go to
for
material
and most
transaction
of
and
the
check.
data can be structured or
There are also
generated
lot of
at an
filters,
so on
and you
such
can check
data
how
you
many
can
items
earlier
have
in
been
the session we
received.
discussed how much of
Okay, you
data
can
is
select the
generated so
source
that's why
ID.
so for now knowing machine
So
learning algorithms
that
and
you can
machine
check.
learning concepts is a very required
we have
skill if you
labor
want to become a
management
data scientist
because
so if you're
it
sitting for
should
an
be a
interview of
standard,
data
what to say,
scientist you will be asked machine learning
display no, from
algorithms
labor
you will be
management.
asked how good you are with these algorithms and how well you can
Can you check on that? Because yeah, task management is there, but as I said, task management plus labor management, their productivity, efficiency. Because if going back to your that first slide, if everything is linked, you should be able to see.
Okay, let me again check on that today itself.
Yeah, LMS mainly, yeah, labor management. That is something that you want to
Yeah,
understand.
so it's how it's associated, integrated with this task management. That is what we
Yeah,
want to check.
because you were showing that it is integrated. What you're explaining that it is integrated, but how? What is the performance? That is what we want to say. No?
See, like what I was saying is not with respect to labor management, okay, but whenever you have resources that are defined in Oracle, okay, and these resources will be under some departments, okay, like you have the order picking department or hazardous material department, and the task is associated to these departments first, and then the eligible resources in that department are eligible to get this task. So that is how this task management is going to help. But labor management, I guess, is something else. So we'll have to check on that, how it's integrated with our WMS and task management system, and how efficiently it can be used.
Okay. Can you please check, because labor management is standard functionality in most
Mhm.
of the WMS.
Okay.
So yeah, want to understand how it is in
Okay.
Oracle.
Okay. Sure. Sure. I will check that.